can go to the NDC in the Eastern region. Kofi Sian is standing by because we understand there's a press conference underway right now. Kofi Sian, what is it that the NDC in the Eastern region wants to tell us?
And they have been telling us that the MPP has been perpetrating some violent actions in some of the polling stations in some constituencies in the Eastern region. And let me not take the West from the party itself. Let me speak to Mark Oliver Kevo, who is the regional secretary of the NDC. He is to share with us some of the things that they raised at the press conference. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, my brother.
What exactly were you talking about?
Yeah, generally, the election has been peaceful. Most polling stations have closed, apart from a few of them that started late. We have issued a statement on the happenings in Afram Plains North, where some polling stations received polling materials as late as 2 p.m. Some started voting as late as 2:45 p.m. And we are saying that, looking at the area, the Electoral Commission should look at the option of extending the polls to tomorrow, so that those who will be disenfranchised naturally because of the time will also have the opportunity to continue to vote tomorrow. That is the first issue. Now, the second issue is the issue of violence. Even though, like I said, generally most places were peaceful, there were certain places that experienced violence from the MPP that we cannot gloss over. Like what happened in Ayensuano, where our polling agents in certain polling stations were chased out of the place and were threatened, and the security could not do anything or any much about it. Like what happened in Suhum, in Etiwa East, Etiwa West, in Ebuakwa, and all that. Now that the polls are over, we are calling on the police and the regional commander especially to deploy extra forces in those areas so that the counting will be peaceful. Because our intel tells us that the MPP has vans and they are dropping well-built men in most of the polling stations in attempt to disrupt the counting process in those polling stations. So we are looking at the police to deploy extra force in those particular polling stations.
Okay, Evans, you heard Mark Oliver Kevo, the Eastern Regional Secretary of the NDC, telling us exactly what the party feels in the Eastern region. So the press conference has ended a while ago, and hello?
Yes, I can hear you, Kofi Sian. Quickly ask him for me. There's something he mentioned about the NDC requesting for some postponement of sort of the vote somewhere. What is that all about?
Well, he was talking about the postponement of election in Afram Place. That is a request he has made. Let me find out from him exactly what he meant.
Yeah, what we meant is that there are about 15 polling stations on the island, the Dicha Island and the Dwarf Island, where electoral materials and electoral officers got to the polling stations late. Per the CI 94, they are supposed to get there before 7 a.m. so the polls can open or start at 7 a.m. and close at 5 p.m. Now they got there at 2:45, some places 2 p.m. and all that, and the polls started late. There are long queues there, and I'm sure that they will not be able to finish the polls. The queues are still there, but they will have challenge of electricity and all that. So what we are saying is that in order not to disenfranchise these people, because it's not their fault that this occurred, it is the fault of the EC. They couldn't bring the logistics early. So if it is possible for them to extend the polls to tomorrow, so that those who will obviously be disenfranchised will have the opportunity to vote tomorrow. That is our request.
Okay, so Evans, you heard Mark Oliver Kevo there again, and he is requesting for a postponement or for an extension of voting in Afram Plains constituencies.
Okay, thank you very much, Kofi Sian, there reporting live from the Eastern region. I must say, the Eastern region, you won't be surprised to hear that the NDC is complaining in the Eastern region, because this is a stronghold as far as the regional trend is concerned of the opposition New Patriotic Party. If we look at our elections generally, there are 4 swing regions, always swinging between the two parties, and these are the Bonahafo region, the Central region, the Greater Accra region, and also the Western region. But there are 6 regions that these parties will always win. The 3 regions of the North, Upper East, Upper West, Northern region, will always be won by the NDC as far as our electoral history is concerned since 1992. And they'll also win the Volta region. When it comes to those other 2 regions making up 6, the NPP will win 2 of those, which are Central region and the Eastern region. That's why you will understand why you have an incumbent party complaining that the opposition party is engaging in acts that might disenfranchise people. And this is what the governing party is saying, that the governing party is demanding or is requesting that the Electoral Commission extend voting in 15 polling stations in Afram Plains because there are island areas and difficulties encountered in sharing electoral materials. Let's go live now to the Electoral Commission headquarters and get a reaction to what we just heard from the governing National Democratic Congress in the Eastern region. My colleague Israel is there for us, and he's standing by with the Deputy Communications Director with the Electoral Commission. Hello, Israel.
Yes, Evan. So the request was put out about the Dwarf Island issue, and then the EC has a response to that. So Mr. Ayuba, he's going to be telling us exactly what the EC has decided on the Dwarf Island.
Yeah, so the Commission has taken a decision that polls should be extended for 5 more hours. So polls closes at exactly 10 p.m. at all the polling stations under Dwarf Island. So the decision is that there will be an extension for 5 more hours, and so polls will close exactly at 10 p.m.
Okay, and this is an extension, affecting all the polling stations. How many polling stations are we looking at?
I'm not too sure, but all polling stations under Dwarf Island.
Okay, and this has to do with issues pertaining to the voting process during the day.
Yes, all those polling stations started, the elections late, and therefore opportunity must be given to all persons who are in the queue for them to be able to vote up to 10 p.m.
Is a similar decision going to be taken for all other polling stations that started late?
As and when, it depends. There are polling stations where after 5 p.m. we will not have a lot of people in the queue, and therefore that decision, it will not be wise for us to postpone it to 10 p.m. But all the people who would be in the queue at exactly 5 p.m. would be allowed to cast their vote until everyone who was in the queue before 5 p.m. will be able to cast his or her vote before counting would start.
All right, thank you very much. So that's Yusuf Ayuba, the Deputy Head of Communications at the EC.
To understand what the EC itself makes of this demand by the governing National Democratic Congress. And the demand is simple, that they are asking the Electoral Commission to extend voting into tomorrow for 15 polling stations in the Afram Plains area because the NDC maintains the voting materials got there pretty late, and that may disenfranchise people. And this is in addition to another accusation they've leveled against the opposition New Patriotic Party, saying that they've engaged in acts that threaten security, but also disenfranchising people. Of course, they believe these individuals who are going to be disenfranchised because of the acts of the NPP are NDC supporters. And just explaining, putting all this in context, why a governing party might be complaining about the election process is because look at the political dynamic of the region, and that tells you a lot. This is a stronghold in terms of the region, in terms of how many times it's been won by the NPP over the period, in fact. And that's why we've seen and heard that from there. I want to quickly now return into the studio and bring in my guests. Of course, the best team you can find anywhere on radio, on TV, online. And I've just been joined in the studio right now by Captain Budukum Singh joining us in the studio. Hello, Captain.
Hi.
Great. You voted?
Yes, I have.
Okay, I can see.
I have.
I can see.
I did my civil duty.
Absolutely.
And then thereafter, then we can talk.
Fantastic. Also with us in the studio is Dr. Kobe Mensah with the University of Ghana, and of course a political marketing expert as well, written a lot about you know, how political marketing can influence the campaigns. He's done research over the period looking into this, and I'm pretty sure he's paying attention to what is happening. We might see that in the book very shortly.